Judges chapter 8. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites? And they did chide with him sharply. And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezar? God hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb. And what was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him, when he had said that. And Gideon came to Jordan, and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint, yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth, Give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the princes of Succoth said, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army? And Gideon said, Therefore, when the Lord hath delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. And he went up thence to Penuel, and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spake unto the men of Penuel, saying, When I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of all the hosts of the children of the east, for there fell 120,000 men that drew sword. And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in tents on the east of Nobah and Jogbehah, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host. And Gideon the son of Joash returned from the battle before the sun was up, and caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him. And he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 70 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? And he took the elders of the city, and thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king. And he said, They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As the Lord liveth, if ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jether, his firstborn, Up, and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou, and fall upon us, for as this man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose, and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give me every man the earrings of his prey. For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. And they answered, We will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, besides ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about their camels' necks. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a-whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more, and the country was in quietness 40 years in the day of Gideon. And Jerubbaal the son of Joash went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name he called Abimelech. And Gideon the son of Joash died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash's father in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass as soon as Gideon was dead that the children of Israel turned again, and went a-whoring after Balaam, and made Baal-berith their god. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side, neither shewed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel. We see Gideon here functioning in his military situation, and he's chasing the two kings, who managed to have gotten about 15,000 of the 120,000 troops or more. There were 120,000 that were killed at the fords, and they've got 15,000 more troops, and the two kings are headed south, back towards Midian. And as Gideon and his 300 men are going south, they come up to a place called Succoth. And you need to understand, Succoth was a city they were fighting to protect, city that was taken advantage of by the Midianites. And Gideon explained what was happening, and they were chasing these kings. And he asked the elders of the town to give his men bread because they hadn't had anything to eat and they needed their strength. And the elders of the town said, no. Are these guys in your hands? No. Well, if they aren't in your hands, why should we help you? Then he went a little further, and there's another little town called Penuel. And they asked the same thing. And these guys said no as well. So Gideon just chased right on, found the two kings, fought the host that they had, captured the two kings, and brought them back. And on the way, as he went through these towns, he told them, in return for you not doing what you were supposed, not even helping us, there's going to be a problem. And he's told with Penuel, which is the first place he stopped on the way back, he said he would tear down the tower there. And what he did was that the tower would be symbolic statement. If he took down the tower, he would take down the defensive wall. So he took down the defensive wall and killed all the men. Then he got to Succoth, and outside Succoth he found a youth, and he asked the youth who the leaders of the town were, and the youth told him who they were, about 70 some odd, I think, 70 men. And he brought them out, and he taught them a lesson. Now, the interesting thing is the word is tear, and what they would do with the branches of the thorn trees is they would use them in place of a whip. And if they wanted to do damage to you, instead of using a whip, they would use a branch of a thorn tree, and it would cut and it would tear. And he felt that this was an appropriate thing to do because they were in desperate need of food, and these people for whom they were fighting couldn't even be bothered to help in any way, shape, or form. He didn't ask them to fight. He just wanted some food for his men, and they weren't willing to help out. So that was kind of interesting. He got back, and apparently we find out that there was some butchery involved. And he asks the two kings about them killing some young men on Mount Tabor. And apparently there were some men that were there. And when they were setting up the camp, the Midianites had killed them. And it turns out that they were Gideon's brothers. And he said, if you had not killed them, I would not have killed you. He told his son, Gideon told his son, oldest son, to kill them. The boy didn't want to do that. He felt whatever. And so Gideon slew the kings. At that point in time, just after that, the people offered him the kingship, and he said no, he wouldn't do that. And then what he did was he said for them to donate the gold, and he would make an ephod as a commemoration of it. And because when he died, the people started worshiping this golden ephod, golden garment that was worn. And they never seemed to learn. You worship the true God, not symbols.